Hello and welcome out there. It's Danielle Tooley. Welcome to the weekly live show, episode number 17, Resistance. And jeepers, boy, did I have a lot of resistance just now coming on here. They've changed all these features on the Facebook Live, and I couldn't even see. Well, there was a button there for going live, but I couldn't press on it, and then it was making me schedule things. I didn't know what I was doing. I was getting really frustrated. I was like, I'm just going to not have to do it today. So, yes, it's really interesting when you create a topic and the situations that come up around that particular topic. So, I want to talk about resistance today and our never ending battle that we have with resistance that creates so much disruption in our bodies and our lives. Whenever we resist something dynamically, guess what? It persists like a MF, full on, right? And they say there's a couple of sayings. There's what you resist will persist, and then there's resistance is futile. So, look, in our current situation that's going on right now, the government has just announced that we've got another month in quarantine. Now, for many, that could bring up a mega ton of resistance, right? So, if that's creating resistance in your world, I'm basically, let's talk about it today because what if I could share with you some tools that could create more ease around that? Hi, Fee. Hi, Veronica. Sorry, I didn't say hello earlier. I was still in my resistance phase. Yeah, so we're having to stay home. We've got homeschooling. I know I've got homeschooling. I've got two children. So for me, there was a brief resistance of, oh shit, do I really have to do this? And guess what? Right now, I don't have that choice. But what I can choose in this moment is to not have a resistance about it. What I can choose in this moment is not to have resistance with the fact that we are in quarantine for another month. What I can choose is not to have resistance to the frustration and the people that are angry and are going through all sorts of things around me. I can choose to be in a different space if I choose. That's what I do have. I do have choice. So do you. You too have choice as to whether you resist against something or whether you choose to be present with it and start asking questions. So for a moment, just tap into all the frustration and the anger and the blame and all the other resistances that you've got coming up. And they may be different to what I'm talking about right now. So what's your resistance? We all have a resistance, right? It's something that it's something as humanoids we do. Hi Dee. So Veronica's written, I'm not in resistance. I'm dreading all the mass suspicion, paranoia, and separation that society may choose for a while after lockdown. Well, are you resisting the suspicion, the paranoia, the separation that society may choose while we're after lockdown, right? Is there any resistance to that? And do you feel that in your body anywhere? So tap into any of the resistance that you've got going on. Resistance to choosing something new. So for me, right, I mainly work with people in person. I do lots of classes. A lot of my stuff is in person. So a lot of my stuff isn't online. Some people have a big online presence, so they've already got that developed. So mine could be a resistance to developing new things online, for example, or that could be yours as well. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now is we're having to do it online. So we're having to work out different ways. So do you have a resistance to that? Do you have a resistance to trying something new? Like, what is it? What do you notice? What is it that's coming up for you? And just tap into all of that. Like, and notice where you hold that in your body and in your energy field, right? So allow it to come closer to you, right? So think about all the things also that you're putting off. So There's a lot of time that you may have on your hands right now, right? You could be putting off doing your taxes. That's a resistance, right? Resistance to doing your taxes. Resistance to, so for example, a while ago, I had a big resistance to doing Facebook Lives. I hated them with a passion, right? And I kept putting it off, but it was something that just kept coming up for me. I'd think about it all the time. Maybe I should do one. Maybe. So there's all this struggle that goes on when you have a resistance to something. So resistance to implementing something new, right? So all those things. Notice where you're feeling that in your body, right? I want you to tap into that. Do you feel it in your solar plexus? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your head? Because it becomes a thought process. Hi, Fatma. Hi, Dee. Hi, Angelica. Hi, Lizzie. Where do you notice it in your body? Now, tap into that for a moment. Now, instead of trying to push it out and push it away from you and struggle with it and resist it and align and agree with it and then resist it and then go through that whole process, just bring it close to you, close to your energy field, and actually look at it and be present with it. And at the same time as you're doing that, lower all your walls and barriers down, every single one of them, and don't just lower them, push them down. Push them down dynamically, right? Now notice all that resistance that you have. Is it still there? Do you have less of the fight going on? Do you notice a change in your body? Maybe you notice a change in your thoughts. It might be different for everyone. Now, when you have resistance to a whole lot of things, can you actually be aware? That would be my question to you. Can you have awareness, a lot of awareness, if you're having resistance? Yes or no? See, for me, I get a no. So when I'm resisting things dynamically, I can't have my full awareness. So if you give up that resistance, can you have more awareness about what you can and can choose, or what would work for you in that moment? Now, I was just the other day, I was resisting making a choice about whether, and this is just a small thing, but I just wanted to use it as an example, whether to buy a ballet bar with the flooring that I bought. I bought some flooring for my daughter because she has to dance this whole term online, and the only floor we have up is like a lounge room space where other people are using, so it doesn't really work for her to be dancing around the room when other people are in the room. And I also have my clinic, which is actually a concrete floor, so for dancing that's not ideal. It's not good for her joints and things like that. So I ordered a dance floor, and I was going to get a ballet bar as well, which was a whole other expense. It was like $355 for this ballet bar. And I was like resisting the choice that I'd made, right? As if I didn't have a choice. See how crazy we are? I don't have a choice. I'm resisting the choice. I've made this choice that I've bought this ballet bar and it's so expensive. And I was doing this whole thing in my head. And then I turned to her last night and I said, "Hey, Indy, do you actually need a ballet bar?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "Are you happy using a chair?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. All right, easy." So we didn't get the ballet bar, right? Simple, easy choice. But see how we resist even asking that question, right? So I use that as an example to see where, you might do this crazy mind fuckery that we do. So, lowering all your walls and barriers, bringing that, all those things that you're resisting in your energy field, right? And being present with them and not making them bigger than you or too hard. It's like, how can you be more present with those things so that you can have more awareness, so that you can have more choice, right? The fact is, we are going to be in quarantine for the next month. So what else is possible? What else is possible for you? What else is possible for your business? What else is possible that you could be choosing right now that you do have control over, that you don't have to resist stepping into, right? So you can ask, once you've lowered all your walls and barriers down, once you've gotten out of resistance, what can I be aware of from this space? So you might want to ask yourself that. If I wasn't resisting, insert your own resistance. If I wasn't resisting money, if I wasn't resisting my choices, what could I be aware of? If I wasn't resisting money, what could I choose? If I wasn't resisting my body, if I wasn't resisting the current financial environment that we're in, what could I choose? Like, keep asking yourself these questions. And then I've got a big question that you could ask. What are you resisting that keeps persisting, that if you didn't resist it would give you the ease you are looking for, yet resisting to have? And everything that brings up, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? And I just noticed Dee's written his shoulders for him. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Because people will get shoulder stuff because they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they have a megaton of resistance to that as well. It's like, I want to carry it, but I'm resisting it. And so people will often get pains in their shoulders. So what are you resisting that keeps persisting, that if you didn't resist it would give you the ease you are looking for, yet resisting to have? And I notice, good morning, Fatma. I've noticed Veronica's written yes and blame. So you resist blame. Yes, a distractor implant is blame, because we knew we shouldn't have chosen something that we did, is basically what blame is. We usually blame someone else for choosing something that we chose, even though we knew we shouldn't choose it. So then we go into blame. Ha! We're such fascinating, infinite beings, aren't we? So I'll ask it again. What are you resisting that keeps persisting, that if you didn't resist it would give you the ease you are looking for, yet resisting to have? And everything that doesn't allow you to release that, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? Now, I want to tell one more story about a friend of mine who actually had this horrible dream. She says it was so intense for her. And she said it was like these demons were like trying to infiltrate her mind and do mind control. And this is in the middle of the night. So she woke up out of the dream, but it was still like it was carrying on. And so she's meditating and she's using entity clearings and she's using demon clearings. She's using all the things that she could pull out of her tool belt to combat whatever was going on for her. And she also said that she took her mind to a place where, her happy place, yeah? And I said to her, hey, were you actually resisting what was going on, what you were noticing in your world? And she's like, And I said, because when we resist things, they persist. But if you just lowered all your walls and barriers down and didn't allow that thing to scare you or freak you out or make you feel uncomfortable, then then that thing, it's like it just vanishes. It doesn't have momentum. It doesn't have control over you. So any of these things that you're resisting actually have control over you right now. So what are you resisting that keeps persisting, that if you didn't resist it would give you the ease you are looking for, yet resisting to have? And after this conversation that I had with my friend, who was actually visibly upset, she was like, I feel so much lighter now. And I said, isn't that interesting? When we give up that resistance, how much lighter we can actually feel in our body. So please, use some of these tools, just simply lowering your walls and barriers down, not allowing that thing to be bigger than you, allowing it into your energy field, looking at it from a space of awareness and choice. What other choices do I have here? What else could I be aware of here? And I know one night I woke up in the middle of the night too, and I had this really strong pain, like anxiety type pain in the middle of the night. Nothing was wrong with me. Nothing was going on in my world. I too used a megaton of tools. And the one question that I asked that shifted it, even though I said, who does this belong to? I asked all that. The one tool that changed it was, what am I aware of? Because guess what? You're so freaking aware. And look at all the stuff that's going on the planet right now, right? So I asked, what am I aware of? And it vanished and I fell asleep immediately. So what actually are you aware of that you're resisting? What is that for you? And check in with that. And how could that create more ease in your world instead of the struggle that you may be currently experiencing with all of this? Remember that whenever you do resistance, you're in a struggle, both in your mind and in your body. So look at what is going on in your mind that's creating the pain and the suffering in your body. Anytime you resist a feeling that comes up, so resisting anger, anytime you resist a sensation that you notice, anytime you resist conversations with people, anytime you resist someone being angry at you, what if you were to receive all that information? What if you were to receive all that anger and that emotion that someone's projecting at you? Like, resisting it and holding it back is actually not receiving. And so therefore you create turmoil, you create disharmony in your body. Later on, you'll have it all locked in your body and you'll be like, I feel so uncomfortable. Anytime you're doing like, I'm feeling uncomfortable, you're doing resistance. Just lower all your walls and barriers down and allow yourself to be uncomfortable. What if where the discomfort lies is where the magic lies too? What if that's what's available to you as well? But you've just got to let go of that resistance to get to the magic, to get to what's possible, to get to what's available. And I love this analogy too. It's like if you were swimming and you got caught in a rip, if you fought the rip, you would most likely end up drowning, right? But if you just allow it to carry you out, you can get to where it stops and then you can swim back along and swim back in, right? And it's the same with whatever's going on in your world. What if you didn't fight it? What if you asking questions would allow you to come back into the shore with ease, without struggle, without suffering, without drowning? So I'll ask one more time. What are you resisting that keeps persisting, that if you didn't resist it would give you the ease you are looking for, yet resisting to have? And everything that is, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it? So beautiful people, thank you so much for listening to this resistance. I hope this has contributed to you and your body, because remember, you and your body are included. So whenever you're doing resistance, then your body's doing it too. So I love that I can contribute to you in this way. I look forward to seeing you all next week online. Have a wonderful week without resistance. Bye for now.